Good evening and welcome to our YouTube channel, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight we have episode 19 of Horror on the Orient Express with myself as the GM. Jeff, would you be so kind as to fill us in on what happened in the last episode?
Sure. Our last episode started with our investigators facing the attempted escape of Baron von Hoffler. We managed to stop his escape and learned a few additional pieces of information regarding the Fez in the Whispering Fez book. There were clues to becoming a master, to, quote, challengers, as well as additional information about creating more Fezes. There was one other more cryptic note about the Fez being a gate and key, and something about it, quote, in the presence of princes and calling forth that which waits outside. The Baron has calmed down, and Ilsa takes him under her care. The group then decides to check in on Scott Myers to see how he's doing. He was the newlywed man who was wearing one of the Fezes. There was a fight in the hallway with one of Metcalf's bodyguards, who was also wearing a Fez. It wasn't much of a fight, per se, because he was very out of it and barely aware of our presence. Things escalated quickly when some sort of shadow beast appeared just around midnight and attacked Matilda first. She was scratched by its icy claws, and as was Captain Leopold when he tried to run past it. Captain Leopold also ended up shooting the bodyguard right in the face with a shotgun, dropping him dead and gaining us an extra red Fez. When we entered Mencalf's room, he was gone, and all that remained behind was an odd horsehair rope. Henry showed up, and we told him everything that had happened, and thankfully he believed us. The next stop for us was Belgrade at about 5:30 a.m. on a Friday. Nothing really happens other than the Countess asked Captain Leopold to speak to Piotr on her behalf. We arrive in Constantinople on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. We're approached by two children that lead us to Professor Demir. We meet the professor at his home along with his family and children. Demir sits us down and tells us that his son Barnes has been kidnapped. He and his son were attacked earlier that morning. He was beaten and his son was taken, and they left a note with three demands. They want 2 Fezes, they want the Whispering Fez book, and for our group to leave Constantinople. The deadline for this to take place was Sunday at midnight at the docks. Demir tells us about the Whispering Fez book. The hieroglyphic language is a rare language called Aklo, and it's a language of dark sorcery. We learned the following points. Nisra is an ex-harem girl who has started a cult, and Mencalf serves her. She is the leader of the Children of the Blood Red Fez. Nisra was a student of the Frenchman, but she left, which made him angry. Mencalf is also a member of the Brotherhood of the Skin. He left that group, and that made Saleem angry at Mencalf. We go to the Frenchman first, and it's a rather wealthy place. A servant leads us to the Frenchman. The decor reminds us of the Dreamlands Express. We try to strike a deal with the Frenchman to eliminate Nisra, but he doesn't really seem interested. The Frenchman does tell us that Nisra is on the Prince Islands, and one in particular called the Island of Exiles. She is shacked up with a Prince Ramazan, who is riddled with syphilis. And that brings us up to date.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So, you are at the moment walking out of the Frenchman's place. And what would you guys like to do?
So, gentlemen, where should we go next? We have this skinless cult to look into if we want. What do you guys think?
Perhaps it would be a good idea to at least gain information about the cult, but also the island. If the child is stored on it, we may be able to rescue him there before the ambush, the trade, even happens.
Yes, that's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
We have less than a day to get this all done. But I think Well, I'll let you guys decide.
You actually have the rest of this day
Oh yeah,
and
because it's
most of tomorrow, because
tomorrow,
it's tomorrow night.
Right, right, right.
What time would it be about now? Mid-afternoon, or
I kind of lost track of time.
we arrived at 10:30.
30.
We met with
Probably
Demir.
about 2 o'clock, we'll say.
Okay.
And it's hot.
Uh,
I was surprised at the Frenchman's reaction. I kind of expected a little more. He seemed just like almost like he didn't care about Nisra.
Well, maybe perhaps he doesn't view her as a proper threat.
or maybe he has some sort of protection that we don't.
If you guys want to do a psychology roll.
Which one of us?
Oh, let's say Jeff, since he started it.
Okay.
Just realized I've got all your names and all of your characters up here on the thing, and I'm like, Ralph. I mean Bob. I mean Frank. I mean Marcus.
As I go through my character sheets too, and who am I today?
You are Marcus.
Today you're Marcus, but tomorrow you may be another person entirely.
Psychology. Yes, I made it by 2 points.
Okay. It seems to you that the Frenchman is just simply very arrogant. He has a lot of hubris. He doesn't think that anybody's a threat to him.
Mm.
So maybe he's not a good source of information.
Well, yeah.
Well, he gave us her location.
Her location.
The location of the cult.
You get the impression that he considers himself, by far superior to them, and they're just like wannabes that are trying. And
I'm a bit confused too, or not confused, but curious. Like, what are these cults competing over? Are they just trying to get worshippers, or is it like monetary or drugs, or
Maybe it's power. The fezzes. The more power you have, the more control that you have. So the more power that you have just from all these fezzes. So maybe that's what they're vying for, which means that maybe the Frenchman himself has a fez.
Well, I don't know. To me, it seemed like the Frenchman only really does this for status. He doesn't really care about actual power. He doesn't really believe in it, I don't think.
Jeff, you have do an occult roll. It's just general occult knowledge.
Actually, my cult is base.
Oh. Well, then just do a knowledge roll.
Okay. Yeah, 29.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say what you know is that cults, almost by definition, revolve around one person or maybe a couple of people. And they're almost always those people trying to gain power over other people. So they have followers and they pretend like they're gods on Earth or whatever. But it's all an ego trip. I want to be, more powerful than you are.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a question of how many followers you have, but it all might want to also be how much control over those followers you have.
Right. Okay. And I guess then, based on what we're coming across, it's all circling around this dark arts, the black magic, right, the sorcery.
And the Frenchman actually seems like the only one who, well, if he's trying to lead you to believe something, he would lead you to believe that he has all that power, mm-hmm, and he has absolutely no need to prove it to anyone.
Right.
He knows
he may or may not, but
he doesn't really have followers. He's got servants, but he doesn't have followers.
Which means he's by far the weakest of the cults vying for control, if he doesn't really have followers.
And yet he taught Nisra, so...
Well, he may have taught her a little. Maybe he dabbled a bit.
Yeah.
And she felt that her knowledge of the occult hasn't gone far enough, or will only go so far with this one. She started her own.
Did the Frenchman directly mention the Fez? I can't remember.
No, I mentioned it, and he scoffed at it.
Oh yeah, he said something like, "Oh, that's just a hat."
Just tricks and nonsense.
Right.
So maybe he doesn't fully believe, he doesn't fully comprehend, and Nisra kept digging, and she's the one who uncovered the true secrets. Everything that he's doing is just surface level, and she's a whole other level.
That's what I was thinking.
That's a good point.
So, I don't know. I mean, the only real way to know more about this cult is to go looking for other cults who have this other level, but they could be dangerous, or by simply going to the Prince Islands and looking for ourselves.
Do we even know where to find the Saleem character?
Yes, you do. You have that information. You have that information because it was given to you by Demir.
Demir is the one that told us that.
Yeah. He is, his cult is centered at it's an old Byzantine fort in Scutari, which is a district of Constantinople.
But if it's a fortress, we could be getting ourselves into something that we don't want to, so I'd just say if we go there to just be light on our feet.
Most of Constantinople is a fortress. I mean, it was the capital of the Roman Byzantine Empire. So
yeah,
it's when I say fortress, it's more like a fort, but it's where they at one point housed a garrison of Byzantine soldiers.
No, so it's not like they converted a building into a fort. Right.
No, probably not.
Okay.
In fact, you could probably walk around and say, "You see those people selling carpets over there? That used to be a fort too, where they use what they got."
I'm a bit nervous too about this whole Brotherhood of the Skin and worshipping of the Skinless One. And
yeah, they sound pretty unsavory.
Yeah, I don't know what we're getting into there, but I'm certainly willing to at least go check it out.
Okay. Well, let's do that then.
Well, from where you are, it would take you about an hour by foot to walk across town and get to that district, the Scutari district. Or you could probably take a cab. They probably have horse-drawn cabs here too, which would cut down by half an hour or so.
So let's take a cab.
Okay.
Does anybody need anything, or are we all good? I think so, right?
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that I have my saber and I have my revolver, and then I have the 12 gauge in my knapsack. So
your knapsack is with you?
Yeah, if we're off the train, then
Okay.
I'm probably carrying it around
Okay.
with my inventory, which is like rope and stuff like that. So if we need rope or matches or climbing gear, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
That's cool. All right, so you get in the cab and you tell him where you want to go, and he seems a little hesitant to go there, but he'll drop you off close by and point to where you can go, because he's a Muslim and he doesn't want to have anything to do with that unholy ground, as he would say it. So he drops you off about a block away, and he says you can't miss it. The building itself it's sandstone blocks, and they're painted red, not light red, kind of a dark umber red. And there's an entrance. You can't miss the entrance. There's only one way in and out.
Is there anything the cabbie would be willing to share with us?
He doesn't really know. It's just bad reputation.
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Are we going to basically just repeat like how we went to the Frenchman? We're just going to like try to walk in and Like what are we offering Saleem? The same thing? We're going to offer to get rid of Nisra?
Well, no, not Misra, because I think Misra is no concern of theirs. But Menkath is, if I'm not mistaken. If I got that correct, he was the one who left their group.
Yeah. Nisra left the Frenchmen, and Menkath left them, and then they formed their own group, is what I'm understanding.
Right.
But maybe we can be straight up with them. Maybe we can say, hey, look, this is what's going on. I personally have a bad feeling that if we give them information about ourselves, it may come back to bite us, but that's up to you guys.
So you bring up a good point that Menkath is not looked upon favorably by Saleem. So maybe it's the simple, an enemy of my enemy.
Right.
Sort
also, isn't this the one? No, I think we're not going to that one. The man who has a quarrel with Smythe.
Yep, that's this guy. That's Saleem.
All right. So
we want to be careful about our backstories.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we should maybe we should just say we work with Demir and we know Demir and we're just here to help get his kid back. We don't really know anything. If you can just help us out, blah 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 blah.
Well, Demir and Smythe are colleagues.
Correct.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, that's up to you guys. I mean, I think that if we just say, hey, we're freelance, we're just here to get the kid back, they may be like, oh, here's some information. But if we bring up Smythe, we're definitely going to be into trouble.
What if we tell him that we're in possession of the book and offer it to him for sale?
Like we're merchants or something?
Maybe like black market merchants. Like we know it's valuable. We know that certain people want this, and maybe we could create a bidding war between Saleem and Nisra, and then we could offer it that if Saleem doesn't want Nisra to compete for this, then maybe he could tell us how to get rid of her or information that would help us.
But then what happens when, they do give us the information, we'd have to give up the book. Would we actually give up the book?
No, because we still are going to get a bid from Nisra.
Okay.
Like we're pitting Nisra
I see what
against
you're saying.
Saleem.
I see what you're saying, that we're in possession of this book, and we're going to have a bidding war.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to make them essentially kill themselves, leave us out of it, and then, deal with whoever's...
Or at least he would be willing to give us then information as to how to not deal with Nisra or to take her out of the picture.
Okay.
Leopold, why don't you do a knowledge roll? Or an idea roll.
Okay.
That was not a roll. That was a sneeze.
19. So yeah, I passed.
Okay. What makes you think that he wouldn't just get the book from you by assassinating all of you?
That's very true. We're in his fort. But hold on.
But we don't have it on us.
Yeah.
What a disaster if he gets a hold of the book or even knows that it exists.
Yeah. That's what I was making mention of, is that if we mention that the book exists to him, eventually we're going to have to deal with either party. Because they're going to say, look, we gave you what you wanted, give us the book now. And we're going to be like, well, we're not going to give you the book. And then we have another whole new problem.
Right, okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying...
Yeah. Maybe that could be a plan B.
Well, we just have to anticipate, okay, so they did this, now we get them alone and we deal with them ourselves.
Yeah.
So, or find a way to where they both kill each other and we come out unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys want to do? I don't want to make this decision.
You might not have enough information yet. You haven't even gotten there.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't we go and we just make an educated decision, or we talk with them and then we say, can you please allow us to step aside or blah blah blah, and then we can talk and then we can go back and just say like, hey, we may have an opportunity for you. Give us a second. We go, we talk, we come back and we say, hey, blah.
All right. Well, I'll let you lead.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to? Oh, fun.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Tag you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So anyways, as you walk down the street and you approach it, there is a place where you can definitely tell the walls are red, and there is a gateway with a portico, a big gate that could be lowered if they wanted to keep people out or in.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 guards that are they're kind of wearing a uniform. The color is blue, and all 4 of them have rifles.
Okay, so they are armed.
Yeah,
Fun.
they're on either side of the door.
Okay. So I approach. Are they stoic, or do they take notice of me?
3 of them are stoic, and one of them steps forward and says, "What do you want?"
In English?
Actually, he says it in Turkish.
Oh, fun. All right. In Arabic, because I don't know Turkish.
Okay.
Hopefully he speaks Arabic, or at least understands Arabic.
I speak Turkish
You do?
fairly well.
Okay, so I'm just going to have essentially Jeff's character translate this.
I believe he's asking us, what do we want?
Okay. We're here to speak with their master. We believe we have an opportunity to extend his power.
Who are you?
He's asking who we are.
Okay. Give me a sec. Let me think. We're Englishmen who stumbled upon an antique that we feel your master would be interested in. Possibly.
Stay here. And he goes inside.
Wonderful.
He told us to follow him. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
And you're all shot, and that's the end of the story.
I told you my Turkish wasn't all that great.
So after about 10 minutes.
Okay. In the blistering heat of Istanbul. Thanks, guys.
He comes back, and he says, "Follow me."
all right.
I'm going to whisper to each of these guys. Another option I just thought of is we might be curious on like joining the Brotherhood. Just an idea.
I was considering that, but yeah, no. I mean, that's an option.
Yeah.
I look at the guard, and I kind of rustle the duffel bag, and I say in Arabic. So like I said, hopefully he understands. And Jeff doesn't need to constantly translate. Should we leave our weapons with you?
Oh, thank you for the suggestion. I wasn't going to make you do that, but okay.
Okay, no. Okay. Don't get so cocky there, Tom. Mr.
No, that's not Tom. That's what he said. Because
Oh, okay. Don't get so cocky there,
to say it.
Mr. Guard.
Yes, they are going to disarm you before you go in.
Okay.
They're not going to disarm you here.
Okay. Can I Do they essentially, do we walk through the gate, they close the gate, and then disarm us?
Well, the gate's not closed. The gate's it's a port. It's up above,
Oh,
like
okay.
like in a castle.
All I'm saying is, so do we step through and then they close it and then they disarm us? Is that what's happening right now? Or are they disarming us here?
No, will just let me give you the description.
Okay, Tom. God.
All right, so you go through and you go into a courtyard. Now, the first thing you notice is that nobody's bothered to plant anything, so it's just dirt. Everything in all the building parts are painted red. You go through another archway in a wall and up some stairs, and you go into kind of a long room that's got a couple of doors at the other end of it. And he says, "We need you to remove any weapons or anything that you have."
All right.
And he just points to a bench, and he says you can leave them there.
Okay.
Now, as you've gone in, you've also noticed there's quite a few people. You counted at least 4 or 5 people up on the walls. There's people in the parapets. There's people who look kind of like servants because they're dressed just in like simple white tunics, and they're doing things like cleaning things, and but the rest of them are all dressed in these blue robes, and most of them are carrying guns. So at least 50 of them, I think, by your estimation.
Okay. So I'm going to wait for my 2 colleagues to disarm themselves before I say what I do.
Okay.
Trying to
So I'll disarm. I'll put my little pistol down, my Dillinger, and then I'll limp away with my little cane.
Okay.
I'll look around at all the people and I'll reluctantly take my blackjack out and put it in the basket.
Okay. Now there's not a lot of people in this room, but you saw this as you were coming in.
Yeah.
After you have disarmed, he takes you to the doors and he opens them up, and inside you were expecting to see somebody in there, but what you've got is a small room. I'd say it's about no more than 20 by 20. It's got a low sort of bench built into the wall all the way around the room except for one end. And on the one end, there's like a little raised up place and a very fancy looking chair made out of what looks like gold, but it's got like copper leaf on it, so it's kind of an orangey red. And it's shiny. It would be gold if they had gold, but it's copper in this case. And it's empty. And he points to the benches on either side and he says, have a seat, and he'll be in here shortly.
Okay.
And then he turns around and he leaves and closes the door behind him. Now this room there's nothing in this room. The benches are actually built into the wall, so they're just part of the wall. There's no shelves, there's no pictures, there is a window, but it's a little tiny square window back behind the throne or whatever you'd call that. And other than that, I mean, there's maybe some dust in the corners and stuff, but it's just an empty room.
Hey Tom, would I know what's the attitude of the people of this area in regards to me becoming a priest? Like, how do they view Christianity? Is it hostile or is it friendly? Or
Byzantium used to be a Christian nation until 1450 something, I think, and when the Ottoman Empire took over and pretty much suppressed Christianity. So.
Is that still going on now, or do we have the division of the Christian and Muslims across the river?
Do you mean right now or do you mean in the game?
In the game. Because I know that
it's pretty severe. There's a lot of segregation, and
okay.
the Muslims are actually quite friendly if they think that they can convert somebody from Christianity. But at this point in time, converting from the Muslim religion to any other religion is punishable by death.
Okay.
Hmm.
However, these people aren't Muslims.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So.
Okay. I just wanted to. I didn't know how. Should I keep it quiet or? Okay.
Well, you don't really dress like a priest, so.
Right.
All right. After you're in there for a good 15 minutes with absolutely nothing, you hear steps approaching, and the door opens. The doors open, and a man in blue robes. He looks like he's probably either in his late 50s or maybe early 60s. He has white hair. He comes in. He's followed by a couple of guards and a young boy. Looks like he's probably about 12 years old. And he goes forward and without really looking at you, just walks past you. He goes and he sits in the throne, and the young boy stands next to him. And he's like deadpan for a couple of seconds, and then he gets a smile on his face, and he looks at you, and he says, "So what brings you to my humble keep? I'm Saleem Makriat."
Should I say something? I'm going to say something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the one.
Okay. So I step forward and knowing the customs of the Ottoman Empire, I step forward. I bow, a very deep, very gracious bow, and he's speaking in English or Turkish?
He's speaking in English.
Oh, okay. So then I say in English, we are three Englishmen who have stumbled upon an antiquity that we believe you have some interest in.
And what would that be?
A book that we found that surfaced in London after it was smuggled in from Constantinople.
Ah, what book is this?
I turn to the others because I can't remember the name.
The Whispering Fez.
The Whispering Fez.
The Whispering Fez. And does this have anything to do with Nisra and her cult?
We believe that it does, but in the proper hands, and I kind of do a gesture towards him and the boy, it could be used to, I don't know, say extend one's power.
That remains to be seen. Where is this book?
Me and my colleagues are currently keeping the book in a separate location until a transaction between you and us can be made.
What exactly do you want?
I turn to Jeff and I point him to the center, so that way he can explain that. Well, hold on, I got it. I got it, Jeff. Don't worry about it, buddy. Don't you worry about it. I got it. We are simply hired hands, arbiters of another client. This client had his son stolen by Nisra and her cult. We are hoping that by perhaps giving you this book, we can exchange information, maybe exchange this family member. However, you should know that this bid also goes out to Nisra and her cult in exchange for that familial member.
Now let me understand. You just said that Nisra has kidnapped this man's child. I would say, what could I bid that would outbid that?
Let's say that you knew information about her location on the Prince Islands, about any structural weaknesses within her cult, or say you knew where she or cult members linger within the city. Anything really that we can use to get in and get out without there being any problem at all. Something that doesn't involve blood, involves slaughter. The book would then be yours, because all that she can really offer me and us and our client is the child. And that's her only leverage. You, on the other hand, you have no stake in this. You have no leverage other than you want the book. The book can be used against her, and my client, who also holds possession of the book at this time, wishes to see her gone as well. To us and our client, this seems like a win-win opportunity, don't you?
I do have a stake in this, you see. Women such as her, and he looks over at Matilda,
Oh boy.
and he says, shouldn't be given any kind of power. It's stupid.
And
He says, I have a great desire that you get rid of this woman for us. And I would like this text that you refer to. It's one that I've not heard of before. I'm curious. Now, I want you all to do a spot hidden roll.
Okay.
I passed. I got a 13.
Oh, I got a 6.
I got an 18.
Okay, so y'all did really well. Now, it doesn't happen at the same time for all of you. It happens at different times during this conversation. But we'll start with Matilda. Matilda, you look over at the little boy standing next to Saleem.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a handsome little boy. But it suddenly strikes you that he is paying extreme attention to every word that's being said. He looks like he's looking Leopold over and memorizing everything there is about Leopold. And when you stare at him, there's a moment when you get sort of a cold shiver down your spine, because the little boy stops doing that and just suddenly looks up and stares right at you. And he looks at you for a moment, and then he goes back to what he's doing, paying attention and all of that. And you just get the strangest cold feeling that you've been tagged, or
Oh man.
you've been okay. Now,
What did you get me into, Tom? What did you get me into?
for Malcolm, more or less the same thing happens, but not at the same time. You're listening to the conversation, and you look down at the boy, and you just notice he has a look of concentration on his face that little children of that age just shouldn't have. He should be fidgeting, and he's not fidgeting. He's intensely interested in the conversation, and then he gives you one of these glances. He sort of looks you up and down and stares into your eyes, and you just get the shivers. And Leopold, as you're doing this, you also notice the same thing. You can feel this kid's eyes on you.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Anyway, Saleem says, what I can tell you of Nisra is that she's holed up with that bastard Mincalf on one of the Prince Islands, the Island of Exiles. And if she's anywhere, that's where she would be. And if the boy is anywhere, that's where he would be also. And he says, I really don't care about your book, but if you can do something to get rid of Nisra, I'd be quite grateful.
our intent, honorable sir and scribe, as I point to the little boy, because I'm assuming he's a scribe, he's trying to remember everything.
He says, he's not a scribe, he's my son. His name is Mehmet. Is Mehmet Makriat.
For you and for many others, including our esteemed client, many would want this woman dead as well as Mencalf, and I can assure you that by the end of tomorrow night, both her and he will be dead upon the Prince Islands.
Well, that's good.
I then say, is there any other information that you can provide, such as where the cult organizes within the city rather than on the island? Is there a way for us to...
The island is their headquarters.
Okay. I then turn to Marcus, not Matilda. And you know, if you got any questions, now is a good time to answer or ask.
So the obvious question I have is, the only way to get to this island is via boat. Is there a compound? Is there a building? Is it an open natural area?
I believe there is a tower. They used to house exiled members of the royal family. Ones that got into some nastiness or disgraced the family.
Is it
This where they're holding...
Is it heavily guarded like your fortress here?
I've never been there.
Okay.
But I imagine she probably has 25 or 30 followers by now. If that would be all, gentlemen, I have other things to do. Please gather your belongings and leave. And he gets up and walks out without paying any more attention to you at all. And Mehmet follows behind him.
Okay.
All right, let's get the hell out of
here. Mehmet gives you a glance. And for some reason, you just feel like till the day he dies, that kid's going to remember us.
Oh, man.
Well, that's good. Eidetic memories are cool.
All right.
Do I recognize him at all?
Who?
Mehmet.
Who's speaking?
Marcus.
No, you've never seen this little kid before. None of you have. Why?
Because why would you give him a name if he walks out?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word this so that it's not meta.
Yeah.
But your characters are in 1923 reading a book.
Yeah, I mean, out of character, I know the feeling, Jeff, but in character, he's just some kid who walks away. Okay.
Okay, I think I see. So Frank will ask if anybody recognizes the name Mehmet.
Eldritch would say I don't recognize the name.
Neither do I.
Henry? Are you around, Henry?
Say that again.
Oui, monsieur. What can I do for you? I'm always here.
Oh, God. Henry's been here in the room the whole time.
Nope, he wasn't, but now he is. How may I be of service, monsieur?
Pardon me.
More coffee?
Please. And just out of curiosity, does the name Mehmet? Ah, shoot, I wrote his last name down.
Makriat?
Makriat?
He doesn't say that. It means nothing to me, monsieur. Mehmet is it is a derivative, I believe, of Mohammed, which is perhaps the most common name on the whole planet.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm curious. What are you thinking, Jeff?
Well, that's I'm kind of meta gaming it, where if this young child is burning us into his memory, if it's like 30 years later, and we might have come across who this Mehmet is.
Or he's running the cult now.
Right.
As an adult.
Right.
But that's once again, that's out of character. We don't know that. Well, I mean, Eldridge and everybody can probably like assess that may be what's happening.
Right. That's kind of
because Jeff said something. Jeff, do an intelligence roll.
because I do know in the modern day, we did get that clue from the skinless one too. So there's definitely a connection with the cult.
Right.
43 out of 60.
Yeah, you passed.
I'm only going to say one thing. You have run into that name before.
Aw, come on. No. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. No.
Well, let's continue on reading this book. We'll think on it.
Yeah, we'll think on it.
Think on it.
And I'm going to turn. Marcus is going to turn and burn the little boy's face into my memory too.
All right.
So you write it. So basically, you have a description of what the boy looks like. That's written inside the book.
No, not really.
No.
No.
Yeah.
We're not writing the book.
I'm just like, if he's giving me the stink eye, I'm going to give him the stink eye back.
It's what I would do. I'd give him one of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you leave Saleem Makriat's place, the fort, and what are you going to do next?
We get our weapons back.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta-
You weren't hassled at all.
For cult leaders and all that fun stuff, they're really polite.
Yes, but that guy's the real deal. Like I didn't really feel threatened around the Frenchman, but this one, especially that child.
I was afraid that without our weapons, we were going to be in some deep crap.
Yeah, that could have went much worse.
Yeah, but
Yet at the same time, I don't feel like we really gained any new information either.
yeah,
We already knew where he was located, but
which
All right.
maybe we need to do like a library. We got to go check some libraries or talk with some people and find out more about the Prince Islands themselves. Because maybe if we do that, then maybe we can find some way to gain an advantage. Because do we have anyone else that we need to talk to?
No, but that's not such a bad idea.
Well, recall that you have left Demir back home reading from the Whispering Fez.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Okay.
translating the part that you couldn't read.
Okay.
We
And
could check back with him and see if he has any other ideas too.
Okay.
yeah, maybe he knows something more.
All right.
Let's go Power Rangers.
So you head back, and when you arrive, the little girl, one of his children, meets you at the door, and she looks concerned, and she takes one of you by the hand, and she says, "Father is in his study." and she's taking you there. She's pulling you along.
Okay.
When you get to Demir's study, there's of course lined with books, and he's got all sorts of things, and he's sitting at his desk, and now it's hot, but he's sweating profusely, and he's pale, and you can see that his hands are trembling, and he's looking at the book, and he's been making translations, and he sees you, and he's like, "Oh, thank God! Come in." He says, "This is far worse than we ever imagined."
How so?
Well, I've almost got this all translated, and what I can tell you is this: the Fez. What was that? Somebody drinking a nice cold soda somewhere?
Have a cold drink.
I was gonna say Leopold pulls up a Pepsi can and just takes a drink and then goes, Pepsi.
What is that?
Pepsi, the official drink of gamers.
They have ice cold drinks now. Where was this wonderful place you got that from?
It's through the portal right over there.
All right, we've broken the mood. He's shuddering, and he's disturbed by what he's read, and he says the Fez, the hat itself, is not really a hat. He said it's a kind of portal in between two dimensions. The wearer of the hat is in contact with a dark and monstrous entity, which in my research it has many names throughout history. Afor Goman, Anwilot Omar. In India, it's called Ramasekva, the dweller on the threshold, the gate and the key. But in Aklo, the language written here in the book, it's called Yog-Sothoth, the consumer of worlds. And he says, I know what these people are after. I know exactly what they're after. And it's all just world domination and power. When a person gives themselves to the hat, to the Fez, they risk disaster. But if their will is strong and their will is tested by the Fez, they become a master of the Fez. And once they're a master, they can make more Fezes and enslave anyone that wears one. One of the more horrible things is that they can use the willpower of the individuals wearing the hats to gain power for themselves. The more followers they have, the more power they have. Poor Mr. Myers in the other room is being used by by Nisra to pay for her advancement.
Hmm.
But that's not the worst of it. There's a ritual that's listed in this book, and if the master performs the ritual, which means we got to keep a hold of this book. We can't let it fall into their hands. If he performs this ritual, he builds a bridge, allowing the essence of Yog-Sothoth to cross into our world. Now, my educated guess is that these idiots have misunderstood all this information. Aklo is not an easy language, and I've studied it my whole life. What they think that they must do is sacrifice a member of royalty, but that's not right. They must sacrifice themselves. And once they do that, they become the father of sorcerers, which is just another name for Yog-Sothoth. The entity, the being himself, possesses them, and they become him, and now he's in our world. It would be ultimate disaster for everyone and everything on the planet. But there's a way to stop him.
Tell us. You've got me shivering.
It's
despite that.
It's the most dreadful thing of all, though.
Huh.
And he looks at you and he starts to become very upset. You can see that he's shaking, and he's actually got tears in his eyes. And he's like, I can barely say it to you because I have a family, my wife, my children to care for, but I will do it if I have to.
Just
unless one of you is willing.
willing
He's
to
like,
do.
until she performs this ritual, she can be challenged. Anybody wearing a fez can make the challenge. It's a test of wills. If the challenger wins the mental battle, he has the power to destroy all of the fezes wherever they are. If Nisra wins, the loser becomes one of those things that Matthew Pook turned into.
Mhm.
And in order to do this, you have to face them face to face. You have to be in your line of sight.
Can we not just destroy the book right here in front of us so that the ritual can never fall into their hands?
The portal, the fez will probably whisper it to you. The person wearing the fez is in contact with that entity. And poor Matthew Pook and Mr. Myers, they weren't prepared. They were taken over instantly by the fez. But somebody who knows what's going to happen can resist it. Mencalf's done it. Nisra will probably do it. We can't be sure that this is the only source of information that they need. The fez has to be destroyed.
I'm an old soldier, and I swore my life to the British Empire and its people, and now I'm a soldier of light against the dark, which means that extends to all people, good and bad. I am willing to make the challenge. Tilda is a young woman, Marcus is a clergyman, and you have a family. No one's gonna miss an old soldier.
Well, then you need to put on one of the fezes.
Weeps. I've been avoiding this for a while now, so do we need to do it now?
No. But when you put it on, you're going to have a challenge. You're going to have to face what's inside and come out ahead. If you don't, you become one of those things.
Do we know how to win this challenge? Was there any?
It says that it's a test of wills, your will against her will. And if you win, then she's destroyed. And you then have the power over all of the fezes, and you simply have to wish them destroyed, and they're destroyed.
I have a question.
Yes.
You talked about almost like there's a master fez, and that the others are then controlled by the master. Is that correct?
Yes, but there's no particular master fez. All of the fezes could theoretically be the master. It depends on the person wearing it. I believe that the people, his followers, if they wear fezes, like the man that you told me that you killed in the train, they can give their will to their master.
And
once
that
they
would
put on the hat, they simply don't challenge.
And that would help the master.
Yes, he can use their power.
So would it be possible we have Actually, I wanted to ask you this question earlier, but let me just continue. We have 2 fezzes right now at the moment. If I were to wear the second fez, could I in some way assist Captain?
No. There can be only one master of the fez.
There can be only one. And even then, I wouldn't ask you, Marcus, to sacrifice willpower to give to me. Who knows what this could do?
Well, I didn't say it was going to be me. No, I'm just kidding.
If I lose, and like I said, I'm older, and Nisra's probably got the power of whoever she's being aided by. What happens if I lose? Will I just... And I kind of raise my hand and I go, poof?
No, you become one of those horrible creatures that Pook became.
So then and I look at the others, and I say, then you two will need to take my weapons and be prepared to not just fight them, but me. Oh, wow, this is hard. Tom, this is hard!
They'll also have to be able to take the fez themselves then and try also.
I know that I took, I know I lost a bit of my essence, but I don't know. Perhaps I can be the first to start. I mean, you are the best warrior among us.
But that doesn't mean I'm the smartest or the strongest of will. But we don't want to sacrifice you, Matilda. Like I said, you're young and you've got a whole life ahead of you. Oh, wow.
I normally wouldn't allow it, but you guys have been friends for a long, long time. So you can probably guess which of you has the greater willpower.
Who has the greater willpower?
You can compare your powers if you want.
I have a 65 now. I had a 70, but I have a 65 now.
I have a 60.
45.
So definitely not. Which means we gotta go with Matilda. Like I said, but that's only 5 points. It's only that's only 5 points difference. So,
Will a man ever let a woman risk her life in this manner?
Well, out of character, as much as I like Leopold, him dying heroically, it's probably something he would have wanted, and not only that, but I like Matilda. I'd like to see her pop up again somewhere. I like Marcus. I'd like to see him pop up somewhere. But it's only 5 points. So, Matilda, if you want to go first, you can. If not, I'll go first.
I have a question for each of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Should the captain go first? Matilda, do you have the internal fortitude to take care of Leopold should things go bad?
Yes.
And the same question vice versa. Captain, do you have the same fortitude that if Matilda needed it, that you could take care of Matilda should things go for the worse?
Yes. In a very problematic thing is that you two don't have combat training. I've been in many skirmishes. I've fought in Arabia.
Which means that if I were to go first and I were to fail, you would have that combat experience to take me out.
To somewhat finish the problem. Right. Oh, God. This is hard, Tom. You bastard.
Horror genre.
Can I just note, too, that
I'd kind of like to add to it by saying your decisions quickly, because hopefully we can get this done in an hour.
Okay.
Matilda, Do you want to go first?
I'll go first, and if I fail, then you guys take care. Take care of the rest.
May God have mercy on our souls. Oh, God.
So what do you guys want to do? I mean, plan of action.
Well,
You actually have more than 24 hours before the exchange. And
the question is, should I start now? If I start now, then perhaps I can start to, I guess, give myself over to the thing, prepare myself with that, and basically become more accustomed to the feeling and everything like that. Maybe I should do that.
What if we have the spell, and that's supposed to help protect you from some of the dangers of the fez? If you were to put the fez on and we all uttered the spell, would that give you any sort of boost? Or
yeah, maybe it drains our will and gives it over to whoever we cast a spell on. So maybe if both me and Marcus sacrifice our will, it can bolster Matilda's.
Demir says there's nothing in here that says anything like that, and that the will challenge is almost instantaneous.
Making this hard. Okay.
All right. Well,
Tom, is there anyone else that we need to talk to?
No, you've got all the information. Basically, you have to make the decision as to whether you're going to wait for the exchange and
or just do an assault,
or whether you're just going to get to the island and preemptive strike.
I guess it's just kind of the flip of a coin. They could be expecting us at the island. They have the advantage.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too. If we went to the docks now, we might be able to scope out the area. We might be able to have a plan B so that if the challenge fails, maybe that would give us the opportunity to snag the child back.
Or maybe we can go there and set a trap.
Right.
Nothing like, oh, they show up and then net, but if something were to go wrong, or if they were to bring like 10 people, we'd have a way to take out half of them. And then
you have a shotgun, right? Do you have experience with a longer range rifle?
I do.
So then Matilda will go to where her stuff is stored, and she'll bring out her rifle.
Hell yeah. He doesn't say that, I do. So yeah, no. If I can get on a boat across the dock or get on a building in the market, I could be able to essentially snipe our way. But the only problem is that that leaves you two vulnerable. Or whoever is going to be talking and making the exchange. Because we don't want to have it seem like, oh, there's something wrong and have them be on guard. We should have someone there to be like, hey, let's talk, let's make it okay, and have a signal. And when the signal goes up, I fire a shot, and then Jeff pops out with his blackjack and starts swinging his arms. Nunchuck it. So what do you guys think?
What if I were to create a diversion, like an explosion in one of the boats?
I was seriously thinking, I'm just going to say this, I was seriously thinking that maybe one of us who has sailing experience, I'm sorry, Tom, but one of us who has sailing experience could get on a boat and sail out and then direct the boat towards the dock and have it just collide with the dock.
Well, I don't know. You could do that, or we can do the sniper thing. And if I'm testing my wills against her, I don't think she'll be out there. But if we do happen to see her, we can take her out, or try to just have a physical distraction for her.
Yeah, the only problem. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Marcus.
I just was going to say, at the exchange, there's three things they're expecting. Lisa is expecting. She's expecting the turnover of the fezzes, the turnover of the book, and the three of us.
Well, she wants the three of us gone. So she's not really expecting us to be there if he's going to hold up his end of the bargain.
What if we did this? What if I went on a building or on a boat with the rifle? One of us is away to do a distraction, and then there's one talking verbally with these people. The person talking verbally, when they ask, where's the book and where are the other two people, you say, the book is with my two associates. I don't know where they are, so torturing me would make no sense. And we're doing it like this. I'm going to give them a signal, and they're going to come out. And only when the child is shown to me and the child is safe, because we're not giving you the book unless we know that the child is safe and will be returned to us. Well, that's just a suggestion.
Yeah, but then what they can do, I mean, they'll have superior numbers at that point, so they're not really concerned with that. If we have the book with us and the fezzes, they just simply kill us and then take what they want.
Well, but that's
as well.
But that's why I'm saying that whoever goes says, I don't know where any of these two things are. They're separated and they're hidden. So
yeah,
killing me does nothing.
That's assuming that they believe us.
Yeah, I guess it's just we have. I mean, we could also just say we didn't bring the book. Period. Or here's the book. There it is. If we just
if you guys are willing to put the fezzes on your heads, each one of you is going to have to be holding a fez when you approach Nisra.
True. Wait. Tom/NPC. So.
Or here's another. Okay, I'll let you finish what you're saying first. I have another idea, but go on.
Yeah, my thought was, so you said they need to be in direct eyesight. So if I'm on a boat with the fez and I can see them, by putting on the fez from that length of distance, would that work? Or do I need to be within like a 10-foot radius or a 20-foot radius, and we both have to be looking at each other, and we both have to confirm?
There's nothing that says that you have to be close. However, it does assume that when you make the challenge, that the other, it's kind of like a fight. It's a psychological fight. So.
Okay.
Like if you're thinking that you could like see her from the boat and
put the hat on,
and challenge her, it's not really a challenge.
It's just me putting on a possessed hat.
There's it's not. It doesn't seem to you likely at all that she's going to be anywhere but in her stronghold. Probably in a room somewhere. So.
True. If we don't do a preemptive strike, she probably won't be there. Mencalf will probably be there, which means we have to take out these guys. Because that's something we had to assume, is that she won't be there. Mencalf will be there, or goons will be there with the kid. They wouldn't risk coming themselves. They probably expect us to attack.
Yeah. Or I have an idea. You and I can both come, with the hats, and Marcus can come with the book, and we could tell them that we want to meet with Mencalf, we want to meet with Mitra, and that we actually want to join them. That they seem like they're stumbling on some power. Say that we read the book, we from what we can understand, there's power to be had here, and we want to share in this power, and that we would love to serve this cult of hers.
Or we could go.
That may actually drop their guard just a little bit, and when I'm right in front of her, I'll just go ahead and place the hat on.
Tom shakes his head no.
Wouldn't drop my guard.
Or
oh yeah, prove it, kill him.
It's almost like Nisha's listening.
Yeah. Or
it's just an idea.
Yeah, Tom, you leave. Turn around. Take off your headphones and turn around.
But I've read the journal.
So, or we could just do the classic D&D where we go in, they'll most likely have the kid with them. We kill the guys. We take the kid. We deliver the kid. And then the three of us go to the stronghold to finish it up. Because that way Demir's kid's safe, and at that point it's just we're not worrying about the kid, we're worrying about us three.
What if there's like 30 of them?
True. What if there is like 30 of them?
Well, you don't look like a berserker.
No, like I said, old soldier. So, what do you guys say? We just want to wing it? Just want to wing it? Just go right in? Be like, here's the book.
I don't think that's going to work either.
Okay.
I also had another thought too, that we're under the assumption that once one of us challenges her and passes, that we win. But wouldn't technically the person who passes, would this now be corrupted by?
Well,
Demir says not necessarily.
Right, but that's assuming that the book is true as well. So.
That's also assuming that
it's the only thing we can assume.
Yeah, we just have to run under the assumption that whoever puts on the hat, if they win, they may be corrupt by just the thirst for power, just like these guys.
That's what I mean. Like this Yard Seth person is going to then be able to contact or corrupt or control or.
Yeah. So we just we got to be careful, but we also have to assume that Nisra and Mencaf will not be at the meeting. It'll just probably be low-level goons. I would be very surprised if either of them showed up, but I could be very wrong. I could be very, very wrong.
And if that's the case, then we don't have anything to lose. We should
just go in guns blazing.
Demir, are there any other men that we could hire?
Well, Demir says if you need to rent a boat, or you need a boat to get you there, but I know somebody, Abdul with the 9 fingers. Not 9-fingered Abdul.
Okay, do you want to just...
He owes me.
Do you want to just storm the castle? Wesley, Fezzik, and Inigo? We just go in and we storm the castle, have a nice old time?
Well, I mean, there is much to lose if we lose, and they get a hold of that.
Yeah. There's too many variables.
But couldn't we just... Oh, no. That doesn't destroy the hat.
So what was your idea again, Matilda? Something about joining them?
Yeah, I mean, if we were to say that we wanted to join them, and, I mean, now we have these fezzes, placing the fez on our heads would symbolize us being in service to them. Matter of fact, we don't need to mention that we've read the book, but we're tired of running. We want to be on the winning side more or less.
Yeah,
I mean, the moment that I put on the hat is going to be our moment that I'm going to enter battle with her mentally.
Wait, I just came up with something. This may be a little convoluted, so stop me. What if one or two of us goes and says, "Hey, we're part of the cult," and then one of us storms the castle. They sneak in. They follow behind. So that way we combine both plans, and that way two are already inside, two are already in the main room, and one person, which will probably be me now that I'm thinking about it, will cause a distraction outside in the courtyard, allowing Matilda to do the spell.
Hmm.
Combining plans. Can I just say that the look on Tom's face is exquisite?
We got 40 minutes.
Yeah, he just do something.
All right. Well, let's try it then.
Which one?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
Me?
No, not Tom. Jeff. Sorry. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I kind of like the combined idea. Although
I will remind you that Dungeons and Dragons things just don't work in this world.
I know.
Storming up the castle, killing all the people that are bringing the food into the party is not going to work at all.
And having it crumble, that doesn't happen either in this game?
No. It just gets you instantly shot.
Yeah.
No, it's my whole thing is not really storming the castle. It's more along the lines of if one of us can provide a distraction either outside the castle or inside the courtyard of this keep or whatever, it can allow Matilda and Jeff one-on-one with, or at least just reduced numbers within the room.
So my two issues are if the third person can't see the other two, how would they know when to trigger the distraction?
Right.
Because if you're trying to, say, oh, well, we want to join you, blah, 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 and then, boom, there's an explosion.
That's
going to give away the point,
True. So I think so. Then I think that we should just go with Wayne's plan.
Go from there and see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
Frank's going to interrupt Eldridge from reading this and yank the book out of his hands and skip to the back of the book and see how this...
See what happens.
Hey, we can...
Curses! No. I never imagined that you would do that. Now, technically, I have to give you the last page.
I'm kidding.
Wow, I should hold you that. Then I don't ever have to tell you what happens.
And they all live happily ever after.
Okay. The book bursts into flame, and that's the end of the story. You never find out. Okay.
Yeah, I think Matilda might have the answer.
Let me get a clear perspective of what exactly you're going to go to the island and pretend to want to join the cult.
Correct.
And
we're not gonna go to the docks at the meeting place and say, hey, we're gonna join. We're just gonna go straight to the island.
Are you gonna take the book with you and the fezzes?
We're definitely taking the fezzes.
We may as well take the book.
Well, if we lose, then...
Well,
why wouldn't they just gun you down and take what they wanted in the first place?
You're
adding too many variables, Tom.
I'm not. It's just you've got to...
So that's what we could bring the fezzes.
But not the book.
And then we have the option of either challenging her Or we could say, all right, we'll give you the fezzes as a sign of good faith. You give us the boy, and when we get the boy safely, we will have Demir bring you the book.
Yeah, the book is in a secret location. So that way we mix the first distraction plan with this plan. We've got a book secret location. We don't know where it is. If you give us the boy, we'll give you the book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And no matter what, we're at that point we're in the room with her and we can challenge her.
Right.
Yeah. Or, and I'll make this the very last suggestion, or we can wait until Sunday evening and then challenge her here. That way we'll have, more of an advantage. If we can get other people to help us out, we'll have at least more people than just the three of us.
Right, but I think that was they were saying that she probably wouldn't be there on Sunday night.
Yeah.
She would send her lackeys.
Yeah, true. Although I don't know. I mean, it depends. I don't know if I was a leader of a cult and I wanted to get something right, and I'm right there on the cusp, I would probably want to see it to the end on my own.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I say that we.
There is one thing that you just touched on, and that's that cult leaders have to impress their cult followers.
Mm.
Yeah.
You could use that, Matilda, to challenge her to make sure that she doesn't attack us.
Yeah. We can do that.
Now so can I just get this straight? So by killing, so if we destroy Nisra and Mencalf, by winning the challenge, does that mean that everyone within this cult essentially dies, or just Nisra or Mencalf or both?
Well, didn't say anything about dying. It just said that that you can destroy all the fezzes.
Right.
Well, that means no matter what, we're probably gonna have to fight our way out, even if we win.
Mm.
So yeah, you know what? I say we just go up, we bang on the door, and we say we want to challenge you. If you win, well, I mean that's just one more thrall.
Demir says, perhaps we can come up with somewhat of a backup plan. If we time it right, after you leave on your way to the island, I could wait, let's say an hour, and alert the Imperial Navy of what may be going on there, and they'll show up.
That's not a bad idea.
To help you. I am a member of the court, so.
Okay.
I mean, we don't want to do that first because they'll
that would kind of alert them.
Yeah.
No, so that's a good idea.
That's what I'll do.
We can light a fire in the tower, and when you see that, that's your cue to send in the cavalry.
Oh, well, I'll have to send them in before that. It'll take you about an hour and a half to get to the island.
Okay.
They would see us coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless we went at night.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that they would stop you.
No.
Yeah.
They'd want to know why you were there, but
mm-hmm.
if you're there to make the challenge, or you're there to negotiate.
If we did it at night, they wouldn't see the cavalry coming.
Yeah.
Probably not.
So why don't we wait until tonight and then we go?
Okay.
So let's say, what time are you going to leave? Remember, an hour and a half to get there by boat, and it's going to be nine-figured Abdul is going to take you.
Let's say 7, because by that point the sun is setting, and then by the time we reach there, it's 8:30, and
Okay. So we'll just say that that's what you do. Now you're armed. Do you bring book and fezzes?
Just the fezzes. I think that's just the fezzes.
Okay.
Stop me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think Demir would be in charge of the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and do a luck roll, and if you, let's say, Jeff, you do the luck roll, and if you pass, I'll make another little suggestion.
69.
Ooh,
That
that's a
sounds
sweet
like a
number.
foul.
That's a fail by 9 points.
Oh!
Do you want to spend any luck to?
Do a push. Do a push.
Go for it.
Dude, push the roll, and I swear to God, but then again, if something bad happens.
Actually, I don't think you can't push luck, but you
I don't,
can.
yeah, I don't
I mean, you
think
can't push this kind of a roll, but you can definitely use. I'll even let you use 9 luck.
the 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. Demir says, "I have an idea," and he opens up the book to the Aklo, and he rips those pages out of the book, and then hands you the book. He says, "Without these, they really can't do anything."
Oh, okay. That works.
Yeah, that works.
And you can use these as a bargaining chip, I suppose, but maybe even give them to Abdullah or whatever. Anyways, you could tell them that we'll burn the book. We'll burn these if they don't get my kid back.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 8:30.
All right. So your trip across the Bosporus towards the islands is uneventful. You do speak a little bit to nine-fingered Abdul. He only has 9 fingers. Demir saved his life years ago, and so he's a good guy, and he owes Demir a lot. He's very trustworthy.
Could we have also had a really awesome dinner, like our last meal?
Yeah, you had a really awesome dinner. You had baba
Sorry,
ganoush.
Matilda.
Great, thank you.
You had falafel and baba ganoush.
Shish kebabs.
And shish kebab. Okay. So anyways, you pass a number of other islands on the way, and those islands look inhabited. But as you're approaching where Abdul says the 10th island is, well, the secret island, the island that the government actually won't even admit they have, it's dark, but there are torches lit on the pier. There's just a little dock. There is a fairly decent-sized steamer that's there. Looks like a converted old fishing vessel, which they probably use to go back and forth on the island.
Okay.
You can see that the island itself is kind of a little hill, and up on top of it is a tower. Looks like it was originally probably a watchtower to watch for ships, coming in. And that's fairly well lit up, but with torches. There are guards. You can see a couple standing on the dock. But they don't really seem to become alarmed, as your boat is pulling up. The boat just looks like a supply boat.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I unclip my pistol and just kind of pull it out so that way if something happens,
it's ready. Okay.
It's
Your
ready.
weapons are ready.
Okay.
All right. So as you pull up to the dock, one of the guards comes over and says, "Who are you and what's your business?"
So, Marcus, why don't you take this one, buddy? I took the last one.
Greetings. We are here to speak with Nisra. We have important information for her regarding tomorrow's exchange.
He says something to the other guard, and that guard comes over and points his guns at you, and then he turns around and you can see him sort of walk up the path to the place. And this guard's obviously just keeping you where you are. So, after 10 minutes, as you're looking up the hill, you can see that more torches are lit, and there's a group of people coming down the path. And the path is sort of curving, so you can't really see them until they're almost there. And as they come around the corner, you can see that it's Mencalf and 4 soldiers. And he's smiling brightly, and he's like, well. He says, we didn't have to force you at all. You just show up on our doorstep.
Did you ever get your passport back?
That was you.
Tax combat initiates.
Kill him now. He doesn't. All right, so the guards immediately move forward, and they're going to disarm you if you let them.
What happens if we don't let them?
Well, you tell me what you do. Do you don't come any closer, or whatever?
Let's say that I just bring the hammer back to where it just clicks, and I just lift it up as they step closer.
Well, Mencalf goes, wait, and he says that to the guards. And he looks at you kind of with what you come across as a devious. I want to mention something else, too. Mencalf doesn't look as bumbling and boisterous as he was. This is a very serious man in front of you. Okay.
So what was on the train was an act.
What was on the train was an act. Okay. And he just sort of gives you a please. And he motions for you to go up towards the tower.
Okay.
They don't try to snag the hats from you or the book or anything like that.
Good to know that for cultists they're very professional.
Just for clarity, is everybody okay if I carry the book?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
While Matilda and I carry a single fez.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Should Matilda do a dex roll to see if she accidentally...
No, I would imagine that we have it in the box right now.
Okay.
But it's not going to really matter in a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you're taken up now. The keep itself is also kind of painted red, the way Saleem's was.
Okay.
There's also paintings on the walls, and some of the things on the walls are kind of horrible. People dancing with monsters and things that are very strange, fish people and strange ropey creatures, and they're all painted in a kind of weird iconographic style that looks primitive, but at the same time really kind of disturbing. Kind of like Egyptian, the way Egyptian walls are painted with people on them. Everything's flat, but it's very strange looking.
Okay.
And they take you in and up a series of stairs, and finally you are brought into a room not unsimilar to the one in Saleem's Keep. It's a square room with a number of seats at one end and benches all the way around. And they bring you in and have you sort of take a position, I don't know, 20 feet from the throne, if that's what you want to call it. It's really just a fancy-looking chair, fancier than everything else in the room. And they've kind of got you pinned, so that you can't make any funny moves. And after a couple seconds, the door opens, and quite surprisingly, a young woman, she looks like she's maybe in her late 20s, and she's dressed like frickin' Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie. She's literally dressed like an Arabian Night harem girl. She comes in, and she sort of lilts in, in a kind of sexy, slinky manner. She's an attractive woman, And she walks up and she goes and she sits on the throne, and she doesn't just sit on it, she sits on it in a kind of casual manner. And Mencalf comes and sits down next to her. And she's like, and now she is wearing a fez, and so is Mencalf. And so are a couple of other people in the room. Okay, but the people in the room that are wearing it look like the guy in the train. They're just kind of blank stares. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do a spot hidden for me. You can all do it.
Okay. That is a 46. I pass.
Ooh. 01.
Really?
An 11. Yep.
Well,
We
we'll
all
say that.
pass.
We'll say that Marcus is the one who really, really notices it, but you don't think that Mencalf's fez is real. You think that he wants others to think that he's wearing one, but he's probably a pussy. And the other thing that doesn't make sense because of that is, wouldn't he be enthralled, be a thrall like the others if she was wearing the fez?
Mm-hmm.
So you think he's faking it.
So you think so? So do we interpret that that she's the one running the show here?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And he glances at her with that sort of look like, I love you. You know, he's enthralled of her.
Mm-hmm.
She, on the other hand, for all of her little sweet glances and smiles and stuff, you can see deep down inside she doesn't give a shit about anybody except herself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's nice.
And she's like, so, she says, it's so nice of you to have brought me the book and the fezzes, just like I asked.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want in return? The child?
Where is he?
Oh, he's safe.
That's our number one concern, actually.
Can I step forward?
Sure.
So I step forward and I smile, and I say, "This isn't my first time doing this. Show us the boy, and we'll show you the objects."
Well, what makes you think I can't just take the objects from you?
Because we have something that you need. And I smile. That's all I'm going to say about that. Show us the boy.
She sort of, you know, dismisses what you're saying, and she looks over at somebody and says, "Bring the brat." So somebody leaves, and after a couple minutes, they come back with the boy. Now, looks like one of Demir's kids. Looks like he's been drugged.
Oh, so he's on opiate.
To keep him from. So he's kind of. And she says, "There you go." She says, "So you're just going to give me the things for this child?" I find that very hard to believe.
Can we take the child to our boat captain, let them leave,
Oh, no.
and then we can continue?
No. She's like, you can turn over what I need. The book and the fezzes.
And then what's to stop you from...
Oh, nothing. See, I'm going to win no matter what. You can't possibly win. This has all been decided before the stars began burning in the sky.
So Matilda will give a deep sigh, and she'll say, "Well, very well. Looks like we have to give her what she wants." And she opens up the hat box, and she picks up the fez, and of course, you know, she's overcome with that feeling.
There's something very interesting that happens. You know what you're going to do, yes?
Yes.
Okay. the hat doesn't seem to quite affect you now. You can feel a little bit of nausea, but now you're kind of thinking that maybe that's just the anticipation of what you're about to do.
Yeah.
You know.
So she takes it out, and
he's just like, oh, wonderful.
And then she places it on top of her head.
Okay, and as you're placing it, Nisha's like, no! Like this. Okay, now the second it touches your head, it almost feels to you as if you've been pulled up into the hat. You've been sucked into the darkness. Mm-hmm. And you can hear whispering and sounds and things that you shouldn't know and forbidden knowledge and flashes of the future and the past and things that you shouldn't be seeing. And I need you to do a power roll.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Dice. No! 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 No!
Uh-oh. What is your roll?
86.
Dude.
Oh, God, Wayne, why?
It's the dice's fault. It's the dice's fault.
Wayne, you get the prize for honesty.
But that doesn't really mean anything because you're dead.
All right. You begin to shake all over, and you just suddenly collapse on the floor. Okay? And, gentlemen, you can see that she's just twitching all over. She's obviously failed. So you actually have one more chance.
Okay. So I look at Jeff's character. Oh, buddy boy. And I just as quickly as possible, take the knapsack, shove it into his arms, and I say, if I fail, you're going to do what needs to be done. And then I take the hat out and I put it on my head. Same dealio?
Same thing. You feel like you're getting sucked into it, and forbidden knowledge and dark mysteries are yours, and go ahead and do your power roll.
Okay.
So you passed.
Right. Okay, yeah, 27.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, my heart. Right. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I can go.
I hope you're not completely at ease, because that just means that you weren't consumed by the hat.
Oh, yeah, ooh. Okay.
Now you have to make the challenge.
Oh, God. Come on, man. Oh.
Where are my dice?
Oh, God.
I'm going to start praying.
Oh, please start. Oh, God.
All right.
Roll.
Wally, are you going to make the challenge?
Yeah, of course.
Nisha has become incensed, and she's like, stop them now. But you still have a chance to say it. You've already put it on your head.
Yeah, I'm going to make the challenge.
You just say it to her.
I make the challenge, Nisra. I challenge you.
And she's like, wait. She says, fine. You'll become my slave when you lose. And
I can only be one.
Roll your power against my power.
Oh, 30.
That's good. That's pretty good.
79. I failed.
Nice.
All right.
Yes.
You both stand there doing it scanner style, just sort of staring into each other's eyes, and all of a sudden Nisha's like, "Go!" like this, and she pulls to the side and starts shaking all over.
Take that, bitch.
Except that she doesn't just fall on the ground shaking. She shakes violently for a moment, and you see her head literally split open, and blood comes rushing out, and her whole body just starts to tear into shreds. The guards are like freaked out, and they're like backing the hell away. Now what do you do?
I have the power!
Oh, no.
I have the sword of...
Okay, so do I feel any different? Hold on. When I was doing my dance, my headphones fell off. Hold on. Okay, they're back on the right way.
You feel like you've been, I don't know, you've been drained, and you know things that you've never known before, things that you really shouldn't. At this point, your Cthulhu mythos has probably gone up to at least 30 or 40.
Oh, damn!
And
holy crap!
but you know instantly and intrinsically how to destroy all the fezzes, and it's just a matter of wanting it to happen. You know that it will save Myers. You know that it will probably kill the people in the room that were slaves.
That means that it kills Matilda, too. She failed.
No, because you don't want it to kill her.
Because I'm the master. I control it. So I get to decide who lives and dies, everybody.
Sweet. Uh-oh. He's
Matilda's
corrupted by the power already.
The thirst for power. Oh, God. My heart is still thumping. Oh, my God, Tom. Oh, I may have a heart attack on camera. Okay. Yeah. So I will the power to the fezzes to essentially fall off and drop off of Matilda and Myers. And then...
Well, that's not what you will. You will for them to be destroyed.
Oh, okay, destroyed.
Okay. Now, as soon as you make this will, there's this kind of a screaming in your ears. You can hear that you have reached out and touched Yog-Sothoth, and he's touched you, and you can do a sanity roll. Actually, you need to pass at least a hard sanity roll.
Okay, hard sanity. Let me pull back up my sheet. Yeah.
Cthulhu Mythos too.
Okay. Yeah, I failed.
Okay.
So,
I need you to roll a D10.
Oh, geez.
God damn it, Tom. Okay. I got a 3.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
It's not bad, but still not good.
But you've dropped to your knees, and you're screaming at what you see in your mind. Yog-Sothoth is not pleased at what you've done. You've willed the fezzes to be destroyed, which destroys a gateway for him. And you can feel your life energy being drawn out. Your willpower is being sucked from you as you can feel the fez itself begins to almost liquefy on your head. You can see on Matilda that the fez has literally begun to liquefy. And back at Demir's, he can see that that you've succeeded, because the fez on Myers is just turning to kind of a pinkish goo.
Does this mean that, as I imagine, like, blood trickles from my eyeballs, that I can now also destroy the fezzes that kill the people here in the room? Just destroy them all?
They're all being destroyed. And
they're all being destroyed.
The guys that had the fezzes on that were just thralls, they just collapsed to the ground. They're just like they've been turned off, and the fezzes are being destroyed. And your energy is flowing into the hat, into the darkness, into Yog-Sothoth, and you drop to your knees. Well, you were already on your knees. You were already on your knees. And Matilda, you are starting to regain consciousness, but you've also taken a terrible sanity hit. So go ahead and I don't actually think you can resist because you have the hat on your head. You do a D10 too.
Oh, man.
We'll get to you in a second, Jeff,
Okay.
because you're watching all of this.
What do I do?
Hold on. Let me see. It's not.
You can go ahead and roll too, Jeff. Just to do a sanity roll.
Just a regular sound?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I got a mate.
You got an 8. All right, my dear. You wake up and you are screaming, okay, at what you've seen. And let's see. See, I have these cards with all these wonderful things on it.
Oh, boy.
Let's just look up here.
What did we get ourselves
Pick a card, any card.
And we will pick this card right here. You jump up and you run for your life. You got a bout of insanity. You got flee in fear, in panic.
Okay.
So you just
It makes
you don't see anybody. You don't care what's in your way. You just start screaming and you run out of the room.
As I collapse on the ground. Great friend.
Matilda.
And Malcolm, you were watching Leopold, and Marcus, sorry. You grab a hold of Leopold as he's slumping to the floor, and you see Matilda running, and you're like, Matilda! But she's out the door, and Leopold's eyes roll into the back of his head, and he goes completely limp and stops breathing, and you're pretty sure he's dead.
Oh. Wow.
Holy shit.
I didn't expect
bring
that.
me back to life, Jeff?
Can I...
Now, you need to do your sanity roll, Jeff. Oh, did you? What did you get?
I did, actually. I passed 28.
You passed it? Well, I'm still going to make you do 1 to 4.
Absolutely. 1.
Captain Leopold, it was nice knowing you.
Okay. Well, let me epilogue now a little bit, because that's kind of where the journal ends. Matilda was eventually captured, kind of, and taken to the very best hospitals, ultimately in London. But she suffered irreparable damage. She has nightmares, and she spent a lot of time in a sanitarium and eventually recovered somewhat, but she's terrified of things that are completely irrational. Marcus, you survived, but you're highly disturbed, and your faith in God is shattered, and you take comfort in the fact that you may have prevented a horrible disaster, but it was too much. It was too much to live through. And after 20 or so years, and you realize that the pain's not going to go away, you finally end the pain with a noose.
Oh, damn, son.
And Leopold, they do bring your body back, and they give you a decent burial, and people come and cry at your grave, and
I remember it as a martyr, and I remember it as a war hero. That's all that ever needed to happen.
Finally, let's let Marcus read the final page of the journal, written by Professor Smythe.
That Leopold was a pretty cool dude. That's what the paper says.
Can you read that okay?
Yes. And so it was, at a terrible cost, that we halted the wicked children of the blood-red Fez, a devastating price to pay for mankind's continued safety, a safety that is not assured by any means. There are things that wait just on the other side, listening and watching from behind the curtain, hoping to take advantage of man's stupidity and greed. But where there is evil in the world, there are those who will rise to the occasion and accept personal disaster for the sake of others. We do not know how long we can keep the darkness at bay, and we will not always know how to act. It takes bravery and courage and a strong stance against hopelessness. But in the end, when there is no light left to guide your path, your only choice is to venture into the darkness. Julius Arthur Smythe.
Boom. Snap, crackle, pop, yo.
And that's where we end it.
Awesome.
Oh my god, this is so badass.
So after reading the journal, Theodore will look to the group and, I guess we're all sitting in silence for a moment after what we've read.
Well, let's do the after next week.
Okay.
Okay. Because you can talk about it and you can think about it through this week of actual time, and then.
Okay, will do.
So, guys, you were amazing. Thank you so much for playing. Thanks to all of our viewers for watching. We hope you enjoyed this session. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you liked our show, please give us a thumbs up. Tune in next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next episode of Horror on the Orient Express, at which time we will be going back to 1923, and we will be adding another player. Until next time, as it said in his journal, if there's no light left to guide your path, your only choice is to venture into the darkness. Good night and good gaming.